All right, let's jump into the action. And just in terms of where things stand in the rankings right now, Strasky won in round 12. So Brad has to win this to close out and be the only player in third. And if he doesn't, he'll be tied with Strasky. And that's not something you want. You want to have your own spot and be like, this is my spot. And make sure to end strong.
No kidding. Being tied for that third and fourth place is pretty stressful just because you're right on the edge where fifth place and 12th place, are the same. So you really want to be in that top four to lock up Worlds.
Worlds is the place where everyone wants to be. It is just such an awesome event that, it's a dream for so many Magic players to play in the World Championship amongst players of this caliber.
It's been a dream of mine for the longest time, and I figured if I'm not going to be able to get there with my play skill, I'm going to try to commentate a world tournament, so that's the new goal.
I believe in you, Corey.
Yes.
I believe in you.
Yes.
All right, so kicking things off here pretty strong is Jean-Emanuel playing the LC to Life's Bounty, playing the Sword of the Realms, and we'll be able to equip that next turn unless we see the Redain come on down.
Yep, an interesting decision there. Brad valuing holding up Heartless Act here instead of casting his ramp spell, the Wolf. Sorry, I forgot the card. Wolf
Willowhaven.
Wolf Willowhaven. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Instead of that, but it is nice what you can do with these Sultai decks. If you wait till turn 3 to play that, you can equip it to an untapped land and then have 2 mana open. So it kind of costs 1 on turn 3, which I'm sure Brad will be thinking about.
Interesting. Skyclave Apparition coming on down with no target.
3 mana Grizzly Bear. Let's go. Yeah, and Brad being rewarded for not playing the Haven. It just would have been got by the Skyclave Apparition.
Mm-hmm. Thinking long and hard about, do we want to fire off this Heartless Act now on the LC to Life's Bounty?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brad is somewhat incentivized to do so for mana purposes, but with both of those creatures being odd, you're incentivized to hold it a bit here, so.
Yeah. So here it looks like we're going to see Wolf Willowhaven equipped to the Pathway.
Yep, and this is giving up the ability to be able to Mystical Dispute a play from Jean-Emanuel next turn, but ramping in these Sultai decks is so important, and you're still able to cast a Heartless Act, so completely fine here.
Mm-hmm.
Or Foretell if Brad so chooses. Foretelling seems a little risky to me, just because you could just animate Faithless Haven, attack for a bunch, and not really have to worry about too much. But Brad thinks his life total is at a comfortable range right now, so he's able to do it.
Yep. Here we're going to see the follow-up to the attack in Redain, God of the Worthy, down on the battlefield, which will tax any of these expensive spells, making them cost 2 mana more, and slow down whatever ramping that Brad Nelson is doing.
Yeah, Redain is just the most frustrating card to play against. If you are playing Emergent Ultimatum, you only have to have 9 mana to cast that, and then 2 more to cast the other spells. So for the low price of 13 mana, you can resolve an Emergent Ultimatum.
I mean, what's 9 mana to a Sultai deck, right?
Yeah, sure.
That's easy stuff. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, so interesting decisions here for Brad Nelson as he's eyeing out the Sultai Triumph. Zagoth Triumph, going to get this down on the board.
Yep, these with an untapped land and a tap land, Brad has the consideration of, do I want to Heartless Act plus Dispute this turn? Mm-hmm. Or would I like to Heartless Act and maybe cast Alrund's Epiphany next turn if we can get this flyer off the battlefield?
Yeah. Makes it a little tricky with the LC to Life's Bounty down on the battlefield with the mana up to protect it. But with 2 removal spells, with just the 1 removal spell, Jean-Emanuel Depraz will be able to get around that.
Yeah, that does make it slightly awkward here. But the one thing is these creatures are all odd. So we will have the option to just play a 6-mana extinction event next turn as well. So still some solid plays here.
6-mana extinction event is a big ol' oof, but certainly worth it if you get rid of the thing that's taxing all your big spells.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's going through Jean-Emanuel's head now? He does have the option to bring up the Faceless Haven and swing in for a big old chunk of damage. Also has the option to get Helvar down, which is the even fellow in the party right now. But it's opts to go for the Faceless Haven and get the damage in while he can.
Yep, I think I like that. I think I'd like, playing that land here, just in case a Heartless Act comes at Faithless Haven, which you saw Brad kind of grimace there. He was really hoping he was able to destroy that at beginning of combat, especially beginning of combat, not after attackers would be declared, because you can just tap Faithless Haven since it does have Vigilance.
So now what does Brad Nelson do?
Yeah, pretty brutal to even cast Heartless Act, because you're basically just throwing it away. 6, 7, 8, 9. This is an attack for 9, so Brad would go to 6. And yeah, I like this here, because with how the math works, if Brad doesn't cast Heartless Acts and just Extinction Events next turn, he would go down to 6 with this attack, and then if Jean-Emanuel top decks a land, he could animate Faithless Haven and equip the Halvar Sword for lethal. So now this at least allows Brad to survive that line. Still not at a good spot, because he's going to have to deal with the Faithless Haven as well, but...
Yeah, I think first thing on his list, though, is to make sure he doesn't die in combat next turn, so... Likely to see the Extinction Event here for plenty mana, but we'll get rid of Redain.
Only option for Brad, unfortunately, here.
Yeah.
But, if Brad can untap and drop a Alrund's Epiphany, mostly, not even for the Time Walk. The Time Walk will be fine, of course, but the 2 blockers is really what you want.
So plenty options here for Jean-Emanuel with 3 creatures in hand. Redain, Halvar, and a Seasoned Hallowblade can all come on down. Or does he just keep chipping in damage with the Faceless Haven?
I don't like the Faithless Haven attack too much, because then if Brad has a Heartless Act, then he's just able to, stop that play the next turn. If Brad were to not have a spot removal, then that's a sequence where you could just win the game. I'm a little bit more interested in just playing Raiden here and then just equipping it and making it just such a difficult thing to deal with. But playing 2 creatures here is excellent as well.
Yeah, and they are different CMCs, so if there is another Extinction Event to follow up, 1 creature will stay behind.
Yeah, actually, this play is just better. Seasoned Hollowblade getting down there where you have another card to pitch. They're different converted mana cost. I guess that's the only Extinction Event Brad plays. But now just the Heartless Act on Raiden, that's not enough. You attack with Seasoned Hollowblade and you attack with Faithless Haven for the last 7 points. Yeah. Brad was really relying on casting this Alrund's Epiphany to just get 2 blockers here. So, yeah, that was a tough sequence for Brad.
Yeah, so he's forced to now go digging into the library, see if there's anything that gets him out of this lethal attack next turn from Jean-Emanuel Depraz. What does he find off the top of the library?
Yeah, like the Cadillac, Azeka's Chariot. Nope, that costs 6. That wouldn't be great.
6, yeah.
Yeah, I think you just need another spot removal, or you need Jean-Emanuel Depraz to not go for it. Either way, I think if Depraz goes for it here, it's just basically over.
Yeah. I think it's going to be lights out. So has to pass the turn back. Didn't find anything useful off the top of the library there with the Omen.
We do need a land. I was going to say we do need a land if you're Jean-Emanuel to for sure lock it up.
Yeah, that was frustrating there.
Yeah, because you can animate Faithless Haven and Brad could choose to just Heartless Act that. But from that point, Brad's still in a lot of trouble. Like, he has to top deck a land to just be able to cast Alrund's Epiphany. And can't cast Emergent Ultimatum if you were to draw that or something like that.
Yeah. So not what Jean-Emanuel was looking for. Needed that land to close out this game.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the play here for him now? Knows that he won't be able to just, one-shot him.
Yeah, I think I would still be pretty focused on either equipping the Halvar sword to one of your creatures or animating Faithless Haven. I don't think playing Halvar is a really great play right now.
Yeah, he's not really doing anything impactful, considering none of the creatures are equipped.
Mm-hmm. So with this play, Brad does have an out to really stabilize here, and that is he could Heartless Act Faithless Haven, and then he could top deck a 7-mana Shadow's Verdict to just really stabilize the board. So that's the risk that Jean-Emanuel is playing into right here, is not having a Faithless Haven to attack back if Brad were to have Heartless Act into Shadow's Verdict. We know he doesn't, but...
Yeah, we can see on the top of the library is the Fabled Passage there, so Heartless Act will take care of one creature. And will he have enough mana next turn to fire off the Elrond's Epiphany?
We need a land. We need a land to cast the Foretold one. Yeah, and a land is the same to cast a Yorion, but that wouldn't be enough. All right, there it is.
Yep, that's the land. That on top of the library, so he is safe for a turn.
And now if he top decks another land, he can Elrond's Epiphany again, and then, Jean-Emanuel will have to attack through a couple of times here, or top deck Elseid to push through and get protection from blue.
Oh no, there's an Emergence Ultimatum on top of the library.
I think it's just being shuffled. They organize it like that. I think.
Yeah, they always tease you. It's like, oh, you want this?
Yeah.
You want this? No. Watch him draw it. Now, anyway.
Oh my God, you were right. I'm sorry. I bow to your expertise.
Oh.
No, he's still one.
He can't play it though.
Yeah, he's one short. So that was actually probably essentially worst possible, but that was crazy. Brad does just have the Yorion play right now to Omen, draw a card, and then, of course he is dead to Elseid, but I think he's just going to come to the realization that, okay, if you have it, you have it.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to play it to your outs at this point. If you find it, if you get Elsie to Life's Bounty, there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, he does have the Mystical Dispute in hand, but, if it's just a 1 mana, well, actually...
Yeah,
that would be fine.
If, Jean-Emanuel's hand is something terrible, like 2 Halvars or something, that would actually be oh, wait. Yeah.
Oh, goodness me. So Yorion Sky Nomad joins his feathered friends on the battlefield and can bounce the Omen here. Get another card.
And we know Jean-Emanuel is just like, okay, I want a 1-mana card, and please don't make it a Selfless Savior.
Yep. All right. Rub the top of the deck for good luck. What do we find? There it is. Look at him. He's like, why? Yep. Why land?
Yep. Land last turn would have been lethal. So that's the frustrating sequence where if that Halvar and land were in different positions, this game would already be over.
Mm-hmm. But alas, these are the hands that Jean-Emanuel has been dealt. Such a frustrating spot to be in, because I've been in this exact position. I think all of us have. We're playing an aggressive deck. You're like, all right, I need to curve out perfectly and get this game over and done with. And the deck just doesn't behave.
Yep. And speaking of not behaving, there's no untapped land for Brad, so he is not able to play Emergent Ultimatum quite yet. Binding the Old Gods is a nice consolation prize where you can take out something here, but... it still is not solving the problem of being dead to Elseid. So I think that's what Brad would like to do, is to make sure no matter what, he's not dead to one single card, but I don't think he's going to be able to accomplish that this turn.
Do you think his thought process is, all right, let's try get Redain off the battlefield here with this binding?
You could, but at this point, the damage is already done with Redain. It's already stopped his plays for so many turns here that it's fine, and he still might do it, but he still can cast Emergent Ultimatum next turn.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think maybe you still just have to get it out of there.
Opts to go for the Helvar, so that's out of here. Doesn't really have a follow-up play besides sending Alrund's Epiphany into the Foretell zone. Doesn't have the mana to counter something like the L-Seed this turn. What do we find? No L-Seed, though. Another land. Brad's just like, please no L-Seed, please no L-Seed,
Yes.
please no L-Seed. Ooh.
We can strap it up there.
Mm-hmm.
And now it is going to be a double striker.
Yep.
But...
Yes, please, Helvar. Could I keep that thingy on that thingy? Thanks.
So that just means we're going to have to... Wait a minute. You could double block this with Yorion and trade a bird... Or trade both of them for this season Hollow Blade. It's interesting, but then you do only have one blocker for the two creatures, but we are probably going to see Alrund's Epiphany next turn.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, because it's really tough to kill this season Hollow Blade. And the only problem is killing the season Hollow Blade, quote unquote. It just goes back to Jean-Emanuel's hand, but it does get it off the battlefield for this turn.
It's like pseudo-indestructible.
Yeah.
It's just getting benched for a turn.
Exactly.
Courtesy of the equipment.
It's take a turn off, season Hollow Blade, but...
Yep. So just the one blocker there. As Seagate Restoration is drawn at the top of the library. And it's time. Is it Emergent Ultimatum time?
Let's see.
Ooh.
There's some value to casting Alrund's Epiphany first, just to make sure, but...
Just look at these spells.
The suspense.
They cost so much. Here's the Emergent Ultimatum. Jean-Emanuel is not happy to see that at all. But, nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, we'll see. See what Brad gets here.
Does Redain put a tax on the spells that Ultimatum fetches?
I was just wondering the same thing. I am guessing Brad's either going for all creatures or... I mean, it must not if Brad would do this. Otherwise, you just don't give him Vorinclex, and then you can cast nothing. So...
Yeah, that would be a big ol' oopsie.
And I mean, I think that's the read that we're doing here.
Yeah. Wait, let's see. We'll find out together, friends. As Vorinclex is the one sent back, so non-creature spells, is he able to cast them?
Yeah, okay.
Brad. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, my goodness me,
I was just
Brad
going to say,
Nelson.
I got to be missing something because Brad wouldn't have made that play, but oh, no, it was just a huge blunder.
Oh, goodness gracious me, oh my. So needed more mana there, friend, unfortunately, for Brad Nelson.
I wish he would have heard me at the beginning of this match saying that if you have Radan, that it was going to cost you... that it was going to cost you 13 mana. Brad did not have said 13 mana to cast those spells.
Yes, as Chad is pointing out, reading the card explains the card.
Yes.
It's all good. It's all right. Brad Nelson will recompose himself. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we'll see how this match concludes. So don't go anywhere. And welcome back to the League Weekend action here, friends. I'm Ailey Loney alongside Corey Baumeister, watching Brad Nelson and Jean-Emanuel Depraz go at it here in the final round of the day. Sultai Control versus Mono White Aggro. Just saw an unfortunate turn of events for Brad Nelson, costing the emergent ultimatum, and Jean-Emanuel Depraz just rubbing his hands together, going, ha 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 ha. Probably not, because he's a very nice guy.
Yeah, admittedly, I've seen better plays from my brother than that one. I one or two, you know, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt there, the benefit of playing all weekend against the greatest players in the world. But yeah, I mean, really, what Brad had to do was binding the old gods on, you know, on the powerful god. Otherwise, you know, he was not able to cast that.
It's even in the name of the card. You got to bind those old gods because they're going to come back and bite you in the butt.
Exactly. So, yeah, that was a bit of a brutal one.
A little bit, but let's see if Brad can recover in game number 2 here. There we see the sideboard decisions as we jump into this matchup. Let's take a look here at the opening hands. Pretty good. I like the look of both of those.
Yep. Strong hands from both. Let's see if Brad can shake off that little blunder there and just play some good magic.
Yes, indeed. That is what we are here to see as we get things kicked off with an LC to Life's Bounty down on the battlefield. Heartless Act in hand for Brad, so has some early interaction as well as the Eliminate. And there's the big ol' emergent ultimatum.
I think he's going to reread that one a few times before he casts it on this one.
Yeah, Retain is a very, very powerful card in so many matchups. It's a great addition to the mono white deck.
Yep, 100% agree. And Jean-Emanuel Depraz's hand here is quite good here. You have the start you really want, which is just any one drop into Season Hollow Blade into anything. You know, that's the main thing. You want that Season Hollow Blade on 2. And if Brad didn't hold up mana to kill something, then you can consider playing Luminarch Aspirant over it. But
yeah. Luminarch Aspirant. I think that thing gets killed more than Edgewell Innkeeper sometimes.
Yeah, no kidding. It does have a target on its back.
So Yorion brought to hand early there for Brad Nelson, and Faceless Haven joins the battlefield. Along with a Selfless Savior, it seems. It's going to join the fray. Could possibly see 2 more creatures added here before combat.
Yeah, I'd be pretty shocked if we don't see Selfless Savior plus Luminarch. Strap up that strapping 3/1.
You mean a 4/2, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And now that's going to be insanely tough to deal with. Jean-Emanuel has essentially had the nuts here, and I don't see too many great plays from Brad. Like Eliminate in the face of Selfless Savior is not looking good, and he doesn't have like the dream you have of being able to go binding the old gods into Yorion. That'd be a little bit better of a play.
Also doesn't have any ramp in hand, so he's in a bit of a tight spot at this point. But on the other side of things, Jean-Emanuel Depraz must be very, very happy with his start indeed. Next turn, able to bring up that Faceless Haven and just start smashing.
Okay, we can foretell here to set that up here in a couple of turns. So at least Brad does have a decent sequence of being able to go Eliminate into Yorion, into Alrund's Epiphany, into Emergent Ultimatum, if he can survive. And he basically has the land set up to make that sequence.
Yeah, but the survive is going to be the difficult part, especially with Luminarch Aspirant adding to the power every turn. Has the Selfless Savior to protect one of these creatures, and has now drawn the Alseed too, which is changed the game plan a little bit here, considering that he wanted the mana to do both. He can't bring up the Faceless Haven and swing with it and get the Alseed on the battlefield.
Yep, because that the land is colorless, but valuing this, just getting damage in there and saying, you know what, I have enough power on the battlefield. I want you to try to deal with this first. And I love putting the counter here. Because if Brad goes to eliminate that, like, just put Selfless Savior on the case.
Oh, yeah.
And hit for 10 here.
Ouch.
Yeah, this is not looking good for my big bro right here, unfortunately.
It is not at all, but it is looking great for Jean-Emanuel, who is going to be very pleased with this exchange. In for 10, down to 6 goes Brad Nelson. And in a game that looked not very good in the first one, you got to think that he is sniffing victory at this point.
Yeah, this game is looking quite Brad right now. And even with a Shadows verdict here, that would be your best play. Or Extinction Event essentially does the same thing. That 5 power Faithless Haven is going to be really tough to deal with, because that one counter just prevents Heartless Act from being a viable answer as well.
Oh, yeah. Brad in a very, very bad situation, and a very sad Yorion coming on down, but we know that there is a giant killer in hand, ready and waiting to take out the big old bird serpent, and that is going to be that mono white doing what it does best: go fast, smack face, stick a few counters on dudes, and win the game. GG, Jean-Emanuel Depraz. What a